Okay. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. It's Jeannie and Cindy. Welcome to BNOW Coffee Chat. And have we had a morning trying to get this going? Oh, my
I
God.
need a shot of espresso in my coffee for everything.
Well, today we're going to talk about the unexpected because Jeannie fell on her face, and we'll tell on Saturday, and I dropped a big piece of furniture on my big toe. I'll be lucky if I don't lose the nail. Blood everywhere. Well, tell us about how you fell.
Oh, gosh. First of all, let's just start with the good news. The
Okay.
good news is we had just had a lovely steak lunch. It was fabulous. And the other better news is that nothing broke. So we went to a brand new steakhouse we've never been to, obviously. They just opened a 9,000 square foot place. It's beautiful. Had a great time. Came out, and the last step down is about this big, and I didn't see it. And I went straight on my face onto the stones and stuff. And God sent these two big angel cowboys that were just this big honking truck. They came over, ma'am, you okay? They whisked me up, and Joe's trying to grab me, and I'm bleeding, and I'm like, I'm worried about my sunglasses that are brand new that the guy just stepped on. But, I mean, first things first.
Another.
But here's it was unexpected, but I have so much to be grateful for. I didn't break anything except my sunglasses, but it could have been so much worse.
Yeah.
And so, you and I were chatting off air this morning a little bit, saying that even though unexpected things happen, Cindy, the way we prepare for them is we keep an attitude of gratitude going, and we also take little moments and just calm ourselves, within. And so you were moving some furniture, you dropped something on your toe, and you were bleeding like a stuck pig.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so, I mean, what do you do? Thank God it wasn't worse, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, and in so many cases, close calls,
They wake us up
with children and that type of thing. Oh, yeah. Close calls are, well, you need to be alert and ready, because we get into our normal routine of everyday life, and then we get these surprises. And you were also talking about the Elon Musk surprise.
Right, with Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, and everyone knows, and even the ones who don't wish to admit it, that our rights in a country, founded on rights and God, have been being slowly stripped away.
Free speech.
Free speech is number one. And that's why our founding fathers made that the very first amendment. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech, no one can impede. But social media has taken over in so many ways and has restricted. I mean, yesterday, a guy who used to work for us has moved to West Texas, and he set up his house, and he posted this thing, and his wife died earlier this year, and he posted this picture over a stove that was like an old piano that someone had put it up, and he went, Lisa would shoot me if I did this to her piano. And I said, I would shoot anyone that put that monstrosity there. Well, guess what? I got censured by Facebook saying that I went against community standards. And I was like, for real? So, this Elon Musk thing, pulling the curtain, I know, stupid. And I didn't even fight it. I just went, okay, whatever. But
oh my goodness.
it is so important. And even like the EU is now, they're all worried that their narrative, which is all about control and, all of this, is going away. And they're saying, well, we're going to ban Twitter. And Elon Musk goes, well, go right ahead, So it's a very interesting time for us to be living in.
Well, exactly, because everything has been status quo for a long time. But those of us that are intuitive, like yourself, and which everybody really has some degree of that.
Yes.
And something's not right. And it's been like that for a long time.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would say at least the last 20, 30 years. There's
Well,
just,
social media wasn't around. However,
right,
we were, if you go back into the 60s,
right,
the CIA and FBI set up, which was called Project Mockingbird. And it
right,
was all about, and they installed, and I used to work in major market broadcast radio in Dallas. And they, it wasn't like there was literally, well, and they could have literally had someone there, but, you know, they installed these gatekeepers, if you will, so that everyone is telling the same story and the same narrative. And, I've seen these T-shirts like showing a picture of George Orwell. It's like, have you not read my book? 1984. It's all about this.
right.
So I think this is the unexpected. I think it is the Great Awakening. I think it is manifesting, and I think truly, Cindy, and you can weigh in on this one, that when we don't pay attention to what's going on, and especially if we have things that need to be healed, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, that our bodies take over and go, okay, let me just get your attention here for a minute. I
Oh,
mean,
you're right.
seriously, I woke up this morning, I look like a raccoon. Thank you, Jesus, for makeup, but it was like, okay, I need to meet Cindy on video, and now what do I do? Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
whatever.
And you
But
prepare,
I love this, unmasking, if you will,
right.
speaking of masks, with raccoons and stuff, but uh, really getting transparent.
Mhm. Well, and at least giving people the opportunity to choose what they want to believe, you know.
Right.
And that's, we've talked about this a lot in our coffee chats, is we get information and you sometimes go, oh, that can't be true. Oh, no, that's not true. Oh, that's not true, right? How do you know it's not true?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know it's not true? And so when enough people are saying the same thing, like the mockingbird thing, then we perceive that as truth. But then now we're learning that there's other sources that are saying the opposite of that. And that has caused so much division in our country because things that we thought were true aren't, we're learning are not.
Mm-hmm.
And things that we thought were not true are, or at least there's a new narrative out there. And some people get stuck in their belief. And so, for instance, I love the example of Mary Magdalene,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember when I first heard about Mary Magdalene, I went, oh, wow, isn't that cool? Which is the fact that she and Jesus were married, right? Because
Which people can't comprehend, but let me
they
just
can't
interject
comprehend.
one little thing here.
Yeah,
In the Jewish tradition, especially, thousands of years ago, you could not be called rabbi unless you were married.
that's right.
And they called Jesus rabbi.
Or
And
go, or
all you
enter
have
the
to do
temple.
is look in the Da Vinci, the Last Supper, and, she's sitting right beside him.
Right.
And anyhow, this is
exactly.
a bigger conversation.
Yeah, that's another conversation. But I read it in the Da Vinci Code, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I thought, whoa. And then it started ringing a little bit different. Like, wonder if they were married. So my first thought was, wow, Jesus would be such a cool husband to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was my first thought, my very first thought. And then I kind of investigated it and saw that there's all this information that this is actually true, that Mary Magdalene and Jesus were married, right? But I have talked to different people in different conversations that will say, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no way that's true. And
of course, you were brought up Catholic in Catholic schools. So
yeah.
that is,
But Mary Magdalene was a saint, but not a wife, and which are, so you miss the added attraction in a way, right? So why would they say it's not true if it is? So what I do then is I start saying, well, why? First of all, if you absolutely believe something is not true, then you're programmed.
Right.
whatever it is. Oh, no, that's not true. That can't be true. No, that's not true. Then you are programmed. You're stuck in a paradigm. But if you have an open mind, then you say, wow, that's interesting. I think I'll look more into it. I actually have somebody very close to me who said, you know what they say, conspiracy theorists always will tell you they do all their research. I couldn't believe it.
Right.
Well,
That's another term that the CIA came up with
right,
to deflect. But there is another aspect of this, and we're all there, all there.
right.
It's called confirmation bias, which
Mhm,
means that in looking through all this information online or in talking or books or whatever, we want, and this is our tribal mentality,
mhm,
Cindy,
mhm.
but we want to speak with and associate with people who confirm our biases, our belief systems already. When Joe and I started investigating lots of things like what really happened on 9/11 and all of these things, I got to tell you, my whole world was, excuse me, was rocked. And I mean, I couldn't believe it. And I
Right.
was like, very, very upset about.
We had those conversations, Jeannie,
Mhm, yeah,
because you were learning this stuff, and I said, "What? What?"
that can't be right. Yeah.
You were passing it on to me, and we have really been programmed to absolutely trust the media and our government that they're taking care of us and telling us the truth. And now we're learning that that's not true. But
Well, and even schools and churches and organizations of all kinds. And so let's go back to Elon Musk. What he is doing is, we've suspected that something's fishy in Denmark here, that it's not right. But now we're finding, and he's pulling back the curtain. It goes back to the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Well, yeah, because you're over there doing the lovers and the smoke and the this and that. Well, it is a very big challenge for us to rise up, break out of our own conditioning, and to say, how does this make me feel? Well, I can tell you, unless we are willing to entertain a new idea, we don't even have feelings around it, except we are going to, by God, defend this to the ends of the earth because that's what we believe, right? So when we stop doing that and say, is there a possibility that this may not be the whole truth? Is there a possibility that you and I trying to, we had computer problems this morning. Is there a possibility that this is just giving us a chance to take a deep breath, step back, and really focus what we want to talk about this morning? Is there a possibility that me landing on my face, could be, I could just ride this horse forever, just going, oh, no, poor little me, but no. It gives me an opportunity to say, I'm so grateful. And you too, you're so grateful. And so in my world now, Cindy, and this is funny because when I say I am committed to staying prayed up, I don't mean asking for, oh God, please, it's what I call the teenage sex thing, if you just let me date, Steve, everything will be great. Or, if I can just marry, Susie or whatever. And, I'll go to church every Sunday. And God's like,
I
for real?
promise you.
Yeah, promises. So when we get past that begging and pleading and we step into the knowing, and we say, it is the unknown, it is the unexpected, but it is simply a habit. It's just a habit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Because you don't, there's that great saying about life happens. Wait.
John Lennon, life is what happens when you're making other plans.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And
Yeah.
which was our morning this morning,
It
right?
was.
It
Uh-huh.
was like that this morning because I had so many computer issues. But at least now with the Elon Musk thing and the Twitter thing, people can see that there are two stories, and they can ask themselves which one just makes more sense.
Right.
Which one and who benefits? That's the other thing. That's how I wrote this whole last few years out, was who benefits by me thinking that this is the truth.
Right.
And that's what is so important, is for people to just look a little bit, try to broaden yourself out and say, who benefits? One time I remember taking my daughter she had hurt her leg, and she wanted to go to the doctor. And so I took her. I didn't think it was serious enough. And as it turned out, it wasn't. However, when I walked in there, the doctor asked me what kind of insurance I had. And did all kinds of stuff, x-rays, all kinds of things to up the bill. When, it was obvious what was going on.
Right.
Because he asked that question. And so I thought I remember the first time and this was a long time ago. This has got to be like around 30 years ago now. But it was the first time that I ever questioned the medical business.
We were just talking about seeing things differently. In the book, A Course in Miracles, they say that the definition of a miracle is seeing something differently.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
So it's very interesting. If I were to take this pen and look at it like this,
right,
and I would say, okay, that's that. If I just move it a couple of degrees, I'm seeing it differently. It doesn't have to be 180 degrees. It just has to be a shift. And so what I have found you and I have really not talked about this, which we can, but in moving to our former winery, which was a very vibrant, big business, that we couldn't sell the building for 7 years. And I do get it that, God said, well, you're too stupid to see that this is actually your home. So we're just going to let you suffer.
Yeah, Casa 210.
Right. Casa 210. But what I have found is I am willing to see my mornings with Joe in a different way. Normally, our little house was built in 1947, and I said, we had little cut-up rooms, so he would get in his office and drink his coffee. I would sit out on the patio if it was nice, or in the kitchen or whatever. Well, we have this huge space now.
Right.
And so we're doing things differently.
Isn't that nice?
And it's very interesting because it's the unexpected. I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yes.
But again, the truth is, and let's go back to Elon Musk and what you were saying, is that something wasn't right. We were where we were and we're okay. But this feels so much better. So, and Abraham Hicks always says, how does this make you feel? How does this make you feel? And most of us, Cindy, we tamp our emotions down so tightly. Why? Because we've been taught nobody wants to see you cry. Put on a happy face. What if your face freezes like that? Nobody likes someone who's, whining and crying and da-da-da. So what do? We snap into place and we go, okay, I don't feel anything. Well, okay, that's a choice too. But at the end of the day, we know something's wrong. And if we go back to this First Amendment thing, the Twitter thing, this is just, I'm telling you, it's like Jenga.
Right.
It's just one of the things that's being pulled out. And we are truly in a time, if we will allow ourselves to stay in that moment, to keep an open mind, to look for the hidden blessings, and to say, something big is going on. Something big. And I want to show up in a big way.
I feel like there's a huge turning point happening right now, Jeannie. I believe that we are giving birth to a new understanding of life
Yes.
and a new appreciation for our planet. I feel
Yes.
like all of this is happening right now, which I've always known would happen at some point. But I think it's really awesome that it's happening in our lifetime, the genesis of this.
I do too. And you know, I just want to interject this. I know we are probably winding down here, but what I want to say is that women, if you are feeling that tug in your heart and saying, I want things to be different for me in 2023, you and I are doing our very first of the year, BNOW abbreviated retreat. It's just Saturday, Sunday, and Monday
Right,
over Martin Luther King weekend. It's the
right,
14th through the 16th in the Piney Woods in Nacogdoches. And
right.
we are calling it Refresh and Renew Retreat. So this is the kind of gentle fun that you're going to be able to look for, and the support wherever your questions are. I mean, we're not therapists, you know, we're not, this is not church, this is not therapy, but we do provide this awesome place that we can laugh, we can dance, we can sing. You bring the music, Cindy. I mean, that's really your shining ability, among other things, but that's truly. And go to beautifulnetworkofwomen.com. We have priced it right. We also have a buddy rate that when you think of someone like, oh, I wish my friend could go, my sister could go, my daughter could go, my mother could go, whatever, you can. So go to beautifulnetworkofwomen.com, sign up for this, because these conversations are going to be taken to a new level of fun. You know, we have a wonderful new yoga instructor. We've got people who are going to be speaking to us about how they've changed their lives around their creating a new paradigm for work. You know, Misty is going to be talking, she's our laughing yogi, but no. She and her husband hit a wall a couple of years ago and decided, here's what we want to do with our business. And they now get paid huge bucks to travel all around, and they go have fun. So if you're just saying, oh, one of these days, you know, I'd like to change this, and I don't know how that's going to happen, I invite you, make time for yourself. So when the unexpected happens, you're ready.
Right. And we provide a safe place.
We do. We do.
With no judgment.
Right.
I love you, Jeannie.
I love you too. Thank you again for
Okay, see you next Monday.
Okay, it is Monday.
And thank you for all of you that are listening. Subscribe, like, and spread the word about BNOW. Thank you.
And we'll talk to you next week.
Yes, we will.
Okay, thank you.